Okay, guys, we are live, and hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Let me just maximize this for just a second. Well, hello, Glue Troopers, Max and Max's Models. Here we have Ken and Steve on the phone, as usual. Voice check, guys.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Can you hear?
1, 2, 3, so whatever.
Hopefully we're not getting any feedback. You guys can hear. So, as I didn't realize I don't have my shirt on straight. I can't even dress myself.
I'd like to say something before we start.
Go for it.
Guys, as you know, Max is going to be retiring.
No, I did not make that. Steve, I did not make that public. Well,
you did it, you know.
Seriously, I thought I...
Sorry.
I'm going to kill the sound for just a second. And we're back.
It's starting
Steve's
out
going to
just
glue a little piece of his hide back on that just got ripped off. So, anyway.
Now I feel bad. I couldn't talk for the rest of the night.
Yeah. The one time I give you the microphone, the one time I tell you guys can leave this show, you had one job. Well, anyway. And it's not official yet, so.
As I was saying, putting this rocket together is now a test for him to get his Russian space pilot's license.
So, the kit that we have is the GOODSMILE company Soyuz.
Max, just tell everybody not to repeat it.
Yeah, Ken, that's how the internet works.
Yeah.
If there's a pounding on the door and I suddenly disappear, just everybody hang up and go about your lives. I can take the sweater off now. The police. So, anywho, we are GOODSMILE company out of Japan. I believe it's out of Japan.
Oh.
And I've never heard of this company before. What?
Wait a minute. We're getting messages saying, "Hey, can anybody read lips?"
Yeah, that's because I did. That's because followed by the ones cats out of the bag. That's because I killed the mic for 20 seconds to make a verbal correction to the situation. Well, anyway, it's done now.
Chase says the cat's out of the bag.
Mm-hmm.
HNF says the cat's scurrying out of the room. Hush money, please. Hush money.
Because none of it is processed. Nothing's official yet. Okay, so
I meant when he does.
When I do.
Out of context.
So anyway, GOODSMILE company makes this 1-to-150 Soyuz and launch transporter, and I thought that would be a fun thing to try and live build. I've got my glue, I've got my X-Acto knife, my pen vise, some tweezers, snips, and a regular glue also, and I have my glue in this wonderful little glue holder that Trey over at Trey's Models 3D printed for me. Those things are really great, by the way. It keeps me from knocking the glue over, which I'm famous for. So, the reason I started a little early was so that because I may have overextended myself, but I got everything laid out here as you can see in the picture. All the parts are laid out the way they are on the parts map. So, without further ado, Steve and Ken are going to be reading the comments and carrying most of the conversation while I try to see if I can get this thing together. So, guys, carry on. I'm going to be over here burying my head in the sand, and I need part G9, G8, G4, and A2.
Yep.
All right.
The bandages are off camera, B. Pagan. And there's a nurse on call.
We don't need no stinking bandages. Bleed like a real model builder. Okay, let's see. I need to see.
Why do you think there's no red paint?
There's no paint here at all. If you see something red and liquid, it is not paint. Okay, A2. And I also brought my magnifying glass.
Francis, are you suggesting that he'll be done rebuilding the buffaloes that you gave him parts for before Max is done tonight building this rocket?
Challenge accepted. Except he won't because I got one of the ailerons in my glove box. Found it in the back of the car.
1, 2, 3. The comment collectively from everybody is Max, engines go in the back.
Ha! Clearly you do not know how to design a rocket. Anybody can put the engines in back. G9 and G8. Okay.
What? Who is it? He's going to build a Goddard version of the rocket.
Yeah, that's right. First liquid fuel rocket had the engine in front. Ha ha ha. Shows what you know.
You know what's good about this, Ken? He's got the knife and the pin vise and the cutters right in front of the camera, so when he does cut himself, we'll get a close-up.
Oh,
You
that'll be
little
interesting.
faith.
Yeah. And with the black, when the blood hits it, that'll
That'll offset it nicely, won't it? G4. You sank my battleship.
Frank says you should be playing with those sharp objects while you're having a beverage.
I believe that was expressly prohibited by High Command.
Okay.
All right.
And the crowd says the carpet monster in 3, 2,
2, 1. Yeah. That's why there's no carpet in this office. All right. First 2 parts fit pretty good. Some of this seems to snap together, but I'm going to use some glue anyway.
Even though there's no carpeting in your office, you still managed to lose a canopy.
Dude, I lost the head to my David Hasselhoff, my 1/25th scale immense miniatures figure that we turned into David Hasselhoff for the Knight Rider, the Kit versus Car diorama. If you saw yesterday's video. And I tore that half of the TARDIS apart, and it's got a white floor, and it's got black hair, and I could not find it. Now, I'll admit, the Immense Miniatures uses a real high-grade resin, so when it hit the floor, it came off with authority.
Trey says, I'm running with scissors.
Yeah. And Trey, thanks again for this little glue holder. It really has kept me from knocking the bottle over a few times. I keep it on my desk here in the office.
Garfield just said what looks like Russian. I have no idea what it says.
Yeah, I don't speak Cyrillic. I don't read Cyrillic.
Do you have a larger one of those things for beverage holders for cups?
I'm sure it can be arranged.
Yeah, Trey says headless Hasselhoff. There has to be a joke in there somewhere.
Yeah, the Hoff. I lost the head to the Hoff.
Ed Cooley says, start a pool if there will be blood.
Okay, I'm going to turn this light up.
Frank Sabo says, I found a missing smokestack for my Titanic kit. The cat was playing with it. Maybe you should train Honey as a parts finder.
Yeah, I tell you what. She can certainly get into all the places that I can't reach.
Raymond says what Trey said was, what Garfield said in Russian was, goes in the back in Russian.
Ah. God bless Google Translate. This looks like it's largely a press fit kit, which is a good thing, but although I'm gluing the parts in. And there's our little Soyuz capsule. It's a 4-piece unit. All right. Now, at this point, I'm supposed to decal it. Actually, you know what? That's dark green. I thought it was black. It's dark green, so it's actually molded. A lot of this is molded in color. Might not make a bad beginner's rocket kit. Okay.
HNX, I believe that file probably is out there.
What file?
Somebody just said we should start a pool to see how long it takes you to find the Hobbs head.
I quit looking for it, so I'll probably find it tomorrow. Okay, F8. Okay, and torch is all laid out alphabetically.
What glue you're using?
This is Tamiya Thin. Actually, it's the Ultra Thin. The quick drying, quick setting Ultra Thin. I have several glues, but...
John Ashley says he's going to have to go out and shovel again tonight. Typical Saturday night. They're supposed to get another 1.5 foot before it's done.
Yeah.
Just keep telling yourself there's no alligators, there's no snakes, there's no hurricanes.
Yeah, no fun. E78. Oh, that's where the decals go. I see. It's already time to put decals on. Big asterisk.
Decals?
Yeah, it's got both stick-ons and water slide. There's a big thing right here in Chinese with an exclamation point, and a bunch of Chinese have no idea what it says to do or not to do. So, oh well. Okay, E7 F8.
It's in Chinese?
Yeah, or well, excuse me, it's in an Asian language. It could be. It's probably Japanese. I think this is a Japanese company.
It probably says stay away from the sweet and sour pork.
No, please be just a little more, culturally insensitive.
Mark Wango wants to know: are we all getting the intro? Apparently, he's late to the party.
Yeah, that's what you get for missing staff meetings. Okay, this part's really tiny, and this part
For the latecomers, maybe you want to announce what you're trying to do.
We're trying to do a build in real time. I got to snip these little parts. Oh, I know what? I forgot to get my eyes. I'm sitting here doing this with just my regular glasses on. Oh, well.
And you're building what?
This is the GOODSMILE
Soyuz
Company's 1 to 50 scale Soyuz launch vehicle.
How many pieces?
I think it's like 200 or something like that.
In 2 hours.
Well, we'll just see how far we get, Ken. That's the challenge.
You know, that's about a piece every 43 seconds, right?
Yeah, hey. So I don't finish in 2 hours. So what's the worst that happened? They're gonna send the kit model cops after me?
Well, the worst that could happen is you end up in the emergency room.
Well, okay, but I don't have to be building models for that to happen.
And then you could never play the piano again.
Well, that would be a real change to my life. It'd be, gosh, I'd have to retire. You know we're gonna, you know, Steve, you know we're gonna dog you about that forever.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of other stuff you could talk about than that forever.
Well, we'll just throw that on the fire.
There you go. Yeah, well.
Okay, where does this other one go?
Garfield says the good smile will become a nasty frown before the build is finished.
Oh, come on now, guys. Have a little oops, whoa. Have a little face.
So this is going to be a long live stream.
Well, that's why you guys are supposed to be, you know, talking and reading comments and whoops.
We are.
Hold on, I got freaking tweezers right here, for God's sakes. That's what I brought them for.
Let's see, Raymond says in 30 minutes the kit will move to match the shelf of doom.
First off, it's a table of delay. Okay. Man, we could call it the shelf of doom, though. I do kind of like that.
Table of delay?
I'm an airline pilot. Whoa! Okay, it's the second time I've dropped that part. Okay, am I put in the right place? Don't say it!
That's the first whoops of the build.
Man, I am throwing some...
Garfield wants to get a pool going, how long it will take for you to lose a part.
Oh, now there's the pool to take.
You can't build and shovel at the same time. Yeah, there's something to be said about living in Florida.
Yeah, we can see hurricanes coming.
Yeah, we know they're coming. Days out.
Oh, but let's be honest, Ken. You still have to shovel the drive out afterwards. Only instead of snow, it's cars and RVs and
Lizards.
Dead alligators.
The table of delay is next to the trash can.
Oh, by the way, guys, before I forget, Morton Künstler just passed away at the ripe old age of 97. He did the Aurora box art for the Aero Commander that I have hanging up in my living room. So I just wanted to mention that. He was primarily, he did a lot of American history art. You can go out, on Wikipedia or online. You can just put in Morton Künstler and hit images, and it'll show you a bunch of his artwork, a lot of military stuff, a lot of movie posters and things like that. You've probably seen some of his work, a lot of like True Detective type covers and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool stuff too. I got to tell you, man, this part just does not want to go in there.
Got that picture there of the Civil War. He probably painted it so good because he was there.
Ooh. But anyway, he passed away, and I just wanted to mention that. So I really didn't appreciate his work until I started looking at some of his bio. But I don't know if he did any other box arts. And as you guys may be aware, Mike Mashat gave me that original. I got it from Mike Mashat.
The crowd says, The crowd says a hurricane in Florida is like a divorce. Somebody's going to lose a trailer.
Somebody's going to lose a trailer. Yeah, that's an old joke here. Okay, I got that part. But anyway, Mort actually went out to Zons Airport, which is what that picture is from, where they had some Air Commanders to get the artwork. Right, even says Zons in the hangar in the background. And about 2-3 years after this painting was done, Mike had the job as driving that gas truck, fueling up the airplanes. And when I brought it back with me, I had it in the cockpit of the Airbus, still first officer in the Airbus then, and we flew right over where Zons used to be on the way in. I did a video about it called, the Great Styrene Circle. But, very Hakuna Matata. Well, anyway, okay, I got it. I got that piece in finally.
The hobby store near me.
Mm-hmm.
He used to live on Long Island. And we were discussing this exact box the other day, because he had one.
Uh-huh.
He used to work at Zons.
Okay, well, there you see. I wonder if he worked when Mike was there.
Some people have suggested maybe you should just let a part fly and see if it lands next to Hasselhoff's hair.
Well, the problem, Ken, is that I was moving the shelf at the time. So when it fell on the floor, I heard that. I mean, I heard it ricochet, but I didn't hear where it went. I mean, I heard a ting, like, okay, it ricocheted, but I didn't hear where it landed. So it could have gone almost anywhere. And so finding it is going to...
That could be a game. Just cut parts off the tree, let them fly, and see which one comes closest to Hoff's head.
Yeah, that there's a pool. Well, I'd have to know where Hoff's head was. This is going to become a thing here, Hoff's head. We're looking for Hoff's head. Is that some kind of German meat dish? You might say.
Yeah. Hoff's head.
You've never had Hoff's head?
One time many years ago, I was working on a project. I forget what it was. And something...
The wheel?
Something fell on the floor, and I looked for that stupid thing, and I could not find it. I said, okay, fine. I'll drop another one and see where it goes. And darn if it didn't work.
There you go.
It worked. I thought, wow, okay. Let's try not to do that again.
You got lucky.
This is next. Check for the Hoff head in your mustache.
Ha, 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 ha. It's not there.
Accelerating without propulsion. Yep.
Well, that's why I did that. That's why I made that slide last night where it said it's probably in lunar orbit, and that slide of the moon with the little sign that said your part is here. All right, this is coming together.
Just go to a hamburger place.
F4 and F5. All right, this is.
Well, we're moving along. We get up to the 4th.
Hey, we got the capsule done. The cosmonaut's gonna live. Okay, that's not nothing.
That's always questionable to begin with.
No kidding. Okay, this is F4. Just ask Kamarov.
Here we go. Hey Siri, where's my heart fall?
Okay, F5. Let's see. Looks like those two parts.
I've been doing a lot of work lately with AI.
Uh-huh.
And I've discovered that it lies, but it's wrong a lot. A lot. Most of the time. And even when you call it, it goes, oh, yeah, you're right. I'm sorry. It doesn't do that. Even though I just gave you that example. It doesn't do that.
I just realized these parts I just put on are the folded up solar panels. So it gives you solar panels extended and its own little stand if you're going to have the Soyuz separately. The capsule, but I'm going to have it together, so I'm not going to use these parts. So let me put this. Okay, put that. Got a box over here for stuff like that. Okay, so continue on to the next. We're already on page 2 on panel 4. We're making progress.
And nobody's hurt yet.
Today. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. I didn't have to build the capsule. Dadgummit. Look at this. It's got the protective shell that goes all the way around it. So
we're off to a good start.
I think I can make that a side display. Let me see if I can build this outer panel, if I even need that. Let's see. This is A1 and A7.
The crowd says AI is Skynet.
In the making, baby. Skynet probably has seen, AI's probably seen Terminator. It knows the script. If people named John Connor start disappearing, or Sarah Connor, we're going to know something ain't right.
Now, if you ask it really simple questions, it's usually right. But
Come on, you and I both know it lies, Ken.
It just makes crap up.
Well, look at this. This goes in here, and then that closes up around it.
I missed the famous Max's live build Volkswagen debacle. I'm rooting for a repeat.
The night is young. So I can probably just make this a side display if I want to. I'm just going to set that aside for right now.
Ooh, Lemur says, AI is cunning, constantly trying to justify its existence.
Sounds like a government employee. Ba-dum-tsh.
Rob Atlas says, Max will never build another VW bus again.
Well, they got me to do it on my birthday.
You sent a letter to that effect.
Yeah, they asked not to do that again, Max.
A3.
Hello there. Yeah, I'm not real big fan of it either. But people keep buying, they keep, well, they're trying, I think Elon's trying to buy an AI company for like whole bunch of billions of dollars. Okay?
More money than you and I have, so, out of our reach.
And they keep turning them down. I was like, maybe you shouldn't go after something like that.
Well, some of these companies just don't want him to, corner the market, so to speak. And they're afraid that he's already got...
He can get it right.
Well, they figure he's already got too much influence, and being that they're, techies and the self-appointed arbiters of all things good and right.
Brian says, where's the cough syrup to accompany the build?
Yeah, not going to do that while I am playing with sharp instruments. I might run with scissors, but I don't drink with an X-Acto knife. Not again, anyway.
Artificial incompetence. Yeah.
I like that. Oh, by the way, Ken, I was going to tell you the song, the Barbie song. We came up with a new phrase we're going to start using for you when you're getting things done.
I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it.
Oh, you will. It's actually really cool. He's got Kenergy.
Really? That's the best you can do?
Hey, that was in the song. I didn't write it.
It was a Barbie movie, Ken.
Yeah, really. Please don't tell me you're looking for Dendap social commentary.
Kenergy?
Kenergy. I think it's cool.
Mike wants to know if you need Monica to help you build this.
Everything's going along just swimmingly. We're doing great here, man. I never had it so good.
She needs to stand by with a tourniquet.
I can scream loud enough. I can scream loud enough. She'll hear me.
I was going to say, what's that?
What's a tourniquet?
No. Somebody just said keep 999 on speed dial, and I said no, it's 911.
No, I think 999 is like Europe or something. A8, A5, A4, A6, A5. Whoops! We'll come back here.
Dario's models build says, unfortunately, both ignorance and incompetence are not artificial. I see the real thing every day. Oh,
they're also. I have learned something from personal experience. They're not exclusive either. You can have both.
Oh, no. Yeah, they are not mutually exclusive. You are correct. Max and his Borscht rocket.
The
Cool.
Borscht rocket. I like that. My motorcycle was a rice rocket, and this is a Borscht rocket. I like that.
It's 999 in Poland.
Poland, okay.
Okay.
I'd like to go to. There are a couple of countries I'd like to check out, and I have been told that the Czech Republic and Poland are really great countries to visit. A lot of fun, people are cool, and the Poles, given their history, you know, with everything that's going on, they have been buying every weapon system the U.S. makes as much as they can afford, to the point that people are calling them little Europe. Habitual line crosser calls them little European Texas.
Garfield says, "Sorry, Max. Honey just finished building the same kit. She started the same time as you."
Yes, but she cheats. Okay, we're into window 5. I need E5, a bunch of E6s, a B3. B3, you sank my battleship. I'm going to be doing that all night.
Sungar says, "How long before the Soyuz capsule gets lost?"
I got it right there at the base of my computer, sitting off by itself. Okay. There's B3. Now I need E5, A, B, C, D, E. E5, here it is.
Garfield says the number is 666 in Transylvania.
Transylvania 66. That's an old song for those who don't know.
Lemur wants to know. He says, "Will it take a while for a Polish air ambulance to arrive?"
Could be. All right, that's in there. Now I got to put these little booster engines on it. I'm going to cut these off one at a time, or I will be losing parts.
Nathan says, "Unfortunately, the Soyuz capsule is already lost. Max set it off the screen. I got $50 saying that at the end of the live stream, you can't find the capsule."
It's right here. And I put it way out where I have to reach to get to it. All right. Whoa! Okay. It tried. This is one of the little boosters.
JM says, "The aerospace medicine folks did a test on the effects of alcohol on flying. The test was conducted on the 117 sim at Hallman. They discovered that the pilots performed great with 2 drinks. Rapid decline."
Well, 2 drinks makes you brave, 3 drinks makes you stupid, and 4 drinks makes you drunk. And 5 drinks makes you a Northwest pilot. Ha! For those who remember that story. Remember that, Ken?
What was the 5th one?
It said 4 drinks makes you a Northwest pilot. For those who do not know, back when there was a Northwest Airlines, the very first one of these drunken pilot stories to hit the news was a Northwest crew. They'd been drinking the night before and loaded up. They actually gave it the required, back then it was the 8-hour bottle to throttle rule, but they'd had so much they still weren't detoxed.
KLSC says, "Max, put a launch lug on it and a C65 in it, and we'll see how high it'll go."
Thought has already crossed my mind. And does Estes even make a Soyuz? Because it would be they like to make stuff with fins, obviously. So I'm putting these motors on here, but I'm not even sure you're going to be able to see them depending on how this thing builds.
Salvage says, "I wish you would build near the edge. It's a pet peeve." Oh, it's a pet 8? Oh, never mind. Misread that. A pet. Same thing. Okay, don't build so close to the edge of the table, we're saying.
Yeah, I'm only doing that because, well, actually, you know what? I should move up some just for the camera.
Yeah, you are playing with fire there.
I'm a rebel, Ken. I'm living on the edge.
Literally.
Okay. Pardon my advanced technique here. Something fell over. Okay, now they're all even. All right, what do I do with this? I got those in there, got that in there. Now I need C4 and C3.
Sounds like you're making explosives.
Well, C4 is an explosive, that's true. C4 and C3, here they are.
So they got C4. What happened to C1, 2, and 3?
I don't think they had enough, boom boom in them or something. I don't know. I actually don't know how I got the name C4, if it was a series test or what, but Okay, so that goes here.
C1. They're probably using C1 as chapstick.
It didn't blow anything up, but by God, it helped stop chapped lips.
Never kiss anybody wearing C2 with it.
Okay. Uh-oh. Oh, got it. Never mind. Disregard the uh-oh. Everything is fine. You know, if you...
The crowd says you haven't had as much fun since doing the traveling slug drill team tour.
Okay, was I supposed to put D4 in first? D4. I think I was. A, B, C,
Dario
D.
says, I think that advanced technique is what happened to the hop's head.
D4 and D3. Well, there's three. We got them both here.
Do you have a sacrificial part you can give to the styrene gods?
Oh, they'll take it when they want it. I think.
Trey says it's like watching a Chevy rust.
Thanks. Just remember, you're here watching it.
Super PZL said, second oops.
Okay. That goes in like that.
Oh, 411 Maintainer says C4 because there are 4 names for the explosive that start with a C.
Oh. Hey, see, we all learned something. Education has occurred.
Max marks all his screws this side towards Carpet Monster.
Okay, that was good.
William says there's enough junk in space around Florida right now, thank you.
Okay, there's that part. Now there's one more that goes. Yeah, D3 goes inverted on top of it. Okay.
Francis says, my wife just pulled the doorknob off the bathroom door. Should I let her out?
I'm not touching that one.
Live stream.
After the live stream, baby. After the live stream. Okay, so these two parts are done. I'm assuming that this is going to go like this. Look at that.
The crowd says, Trey, can you have your son print up a bunch of hop heads?
Mm.
They can be the official Max's Models membership badge.
Okay. Apparently there's a couple of options how to do this next thing.
Trey says,
E4.
Frank, how fast can you run? It's got to be a little faster than her.
Ludy Killer says, is there labeled a part in the instructions that say fed to Carpet Monster?
No, but generally speaking, the default on that is either something that matches the color, something extremely small, or something clear. Okay, E1s. Those are all right here.
That you could step on.
E1, that's the private basic. And yes, you can step on them. Ask any general. Private, yes, sir. Lay down. I don't want to get my boots dirty in that mud puddle. Yes, sir. A pleasure, Herr Lieutenant. Okay, here's for all you movie fans. What was that line from?
What was the line?
A pleasure, Herr Lieutenant.
Nathan says, hey Max, if you're interested in owning your own slightly used 737, there's a bunch of Spirit airplanes parked out in the desert in Phoenix. I'm sure you can pick one up real cheap.
Well, first off, they fly Airbuses. And that's too soon, man. Too soon.
Max could start his own airline, which he's done. He has done the business plan for at least once.
Yep. And we all know how far that went.
You actually had a pretty good plan.
I've actually done 2 of them. One for a DC-9 charter outfit and one for an actual. It started off as a commuter, and then I realized it was actually better to use old jets. They were cheaper than turboprops to get started. And you can buy a lot of jets now. 737, hell, 767 isn't that expensive, actually. because they're getting old, need more maintenance. They're great airplanes.
Remember that airline game I gave you many years ago?
Airbucks.
Airbucks, yes.
I played that game.
Max broke the game.
Yeah, I didn't realize if you made $2 billion in profit, the game basically did a reset.
No, what happened was you flipped the sign bit, and it went from a positive $2 billion to a negative $2 billion.
Just like a real airline.
And he still made money. I played that game for hours, and I kept going broke, having to talk to the banker all the time. And you get a hold of it, and you go to $2 billion.
Well, I also understood how route systems worked and city pairs and pricing and stuff. And the way to win that game is not only your city pairs, but your pricing model.
Right, that model was really important.
Scale Model Apprentice is asking, have you ever flown a Boeing product?
No, I have never checked out on Boeing. Heard great things about them. Never flown one. Flown in them a gazillion times. But I've never... Okay, what's going on here? That goes in there.
$2 billion, that must have been before deregulation. Max Value Airline? Value Max? The company name writes itself.
Like TJ Maxx, we're the air division.
Super PZL says Max needs an AN-24 to fly.
God. Why don't you give me an AN-2? I can go crop dusting. That Cuban AN-2 that flew up here recently, they said that thing was a freaking rust bucket. They were like, that's a brave soul to fly that thing. I was like, not brave, boys and girls, desperate. Okay. It doesn't say it in English, but you really need to put these two pieces together first.
Sally says, oh, God, he ain't filing the flash.
What?
Meanwhile, how many of these do you have to build to get the, I mean, is this part of the rocket sides of the rocket, or?
You build 3 of these without a mistake, they give you a PhD in rocket engineering in Russia. Oh, we're already going for the big part, C2 and C1.
On Max Air, you get max legroom and max headroom.
I had thought about a southern airline called Rebel Yell, but I figured these days that'd be way too insensitive. Then the name we came up with was Flair for Florida Airlines, and it turns out there is a Flair Airlines out, I think, Canada, and there was actually one that tried to get started here in Florida after I did it, so that name wrote itself. So we went with Jet Florida, and start off as an interstate regional. Interstate regional. No, intrastate. Stay within the state. And then move out eventually.
Craig Swan says, they're old pilots, they're bold pilots.
But there are no old bold pilots.
But there are AN-2 pilots. Cross says, speedy builds are not satisfying.
Okay, let's see. This...
Max is working towards his model building merit badge.
The only merit badge I got when I was a Boy Scout, I got 4 skill awards. I think 2 of which I cheated on. And some Boy Scout, huh? And I got 1 merit badge, and it was the aviation merit badge. And I did build a model to do the speech and display I had to do to get it. D7.
Okay, I'm going to slightly translate this. Savage says, this rocket will never fly it will crash due to flash drag.
I haven't actually seen any flash on this thing.
And how many years did it take you to get that 1 merit badge?
No, I don't know. I was a scout for a couple of years. I was holding never into the whole merit badge thing. My older brother was an Eagle Scout.
So was my son.
Yeah. And I tell you guys, for those who don't know anything about scouting, becoming an Eagle Scout is a big deal. It is not a minor deal. It takes a heck of a lot of work. D6.
I was just going to say, Max doesn't let his flying go to his head. He lets it go to the Hoffs.
You know, we could have a thing here. If you misbehave, you end up like the Hoff.
Uh-oh. Then we're all in big trouble.
Okay.
Jan says, I don't know. With a passenger airline called Rebel yell, passengers will be cry, more, more, more.
Natasha says, mullet air, business up front and party in the back.
There you go, baby. Which kind of is the way airlines lay it out. They put the business class passengers up front and all the tourists, the party animals all go in the back. So there's actually, some consensus for that.
Nathan says, as a kid, I used to love it when homework would intersect with model building.
Yeah, I used models once or twice on book reports and things. Okay, looks like this one we have to line something up here.
Oh, the crowd's being specific here. BSA model building merit badge specifically prohibits building a kit. Must be a scratch build.
Well, they didn't have the model building merit badge back then. They just had the aviation merit badge, which was the one I got. I did hear they have a model building merit badge now, which I think is outstanding. And if it's scratch built, all the better. So much the better. Okay, this piece is not a snap-in piece, I don't think. Let me see. Okay.
Steve Jarvis says, behind every Eagle Scout is a motivated mom.
Yeah.
Or dad. Yeah.
Or dad. Owl Airlines, a fly-by-night company.
Okay.
Brian Tate says, believe me, no partying in the back of the legroom they give you.
Trying to figure out how this piece goes in. Where there's no big, well, I guess there's a gap.
Jim
right there.
Jalvik says, Scouts need a Gundam merit badge now.
That is the popular, it is like the most popular thing in modeling is the Gundams.
It is.
Ah, that's how it goes.
Some of the comments said they would like to have you do the assembly closer to the camera because they can't see what you're doing.
Yeah, sorry, but see, it'll go out of. You know what? Let me see if I can move this. Hang on, guys. Watch your eyesight.
Away from the edge. You're making people nervous.
Oh, here we go. James Tyler, Rue Airlines, specializing in short hops.
Like kangaroo. Okay. That piece, I believe, goes.
There's an earthquake on the screen.
Earthquake. Earthshake.
What are you doing?
I'm trying to fit this ring to these. This is between the stages, and the Russians use this lattice work, which let me put the light down here. They use this lattice work. I'm trying to get it. You see, the thing can't focus in real close, but they use.
Jason says, "Yes, thank you, Max. That's just what we needed. More of Max's belly on camera."
Hey, that's why I had it hanging where it was. You got what you asked for. Live with it. Okay. Whoops.
Brian says, much better, Max.
It fell into
More
place.
entertaining.
Okay. Hold on.
Here
It
we
fell
go.
into place.
Mike Frady says, I've been working on this 1/16 tank for 3 weekends now. Once I start building with Max, I lost the main gun. Thanks, Max.
You're welcome. I'm good. Great. I made losing parts contagious. I got this thing to fall into place. This one you definitely have to glue in. This is not a press fit.
Trey says, that's no moon. It's a space station.
Ha ha ha! Trey can say that now because he has lost. He's gotten real trim. He's been doing that low carb diet.
Steve Jarvis says there's just some things you can't unsee.
You guys want me to pull this shirt out and give you a look at the laser gun on the Death Star here? Because I'll do it, man. Whoops, sorry, didn't. I thought it was tucked in. Sorry, did not mean to flash you there. Oh, wink the evil navel.
The crowd says,
Chris says now we need eye bleach.
I just had here's a T-shirt for you. Show the Death Star with the big, where the beam comes out of, and go, Death Star, the world's most dangerous naval.
my screen just started cracking.
Steve Jarvis says, is he working on a belly tank?
You want to see a belly button? They can do that.
The incredible bulk.
Oh, that's an old one. My brother thought of that one 40 years ago.
Naval warfare.
Ah. Okay, I'm using the thick glue. The thin glue ain't getting it.
Rob Atlas says that's going to take us down.
Oh, it sure does. Oh, crap. Now the channel gets shut down.
Again. Whoa! Oh, got it.
Shaggy Buzz says, this is what the plane sees. Now everybody's worried about the channel getting shut down.
Yeah.
Chop it there we go.
John Kitty says, who does you, man?
Okay. That's...
The crowd says at least there's no stretch marks.
You guys are all heart, telling you, just all heart.
Lance just said Max's model's production quality just reached new lows.
And that took some effort. I was thinking of you.
Oh, PTSD flashback to Max's Tarvis V1 summer without air conditioning shirtless video.
I remember that one. Hey, I blocked it out. Quit whining.
Nathan says this is supposed to be a family-friendly channel. There might be children watching.
It is family-friendly. Ish.
Max's models demonetized faster than HLC.
See, this is why I never bothered to monetize to begin with. You can't take away what I ain't got. There's...
My Connor said that the lost main gun is Max's navel, probably.
Ha 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 ha.
Max's undercarriage ain't pretty.
Never said it was. Okay, this is how this...
says Ken is having more fun than us.
Yeah, okay, hold on. This has got to go in this way. This is where this goes.
Don't you like how his hands completely cover what he's doing?
Salvage says, hey, Max, do they adjust the yoke when you're flying?
Oh, that's why I had it upside down. Okay. No, they adjust. The seats adjust. Besides, I have a side stick. The Airbus has a side stick, not a yoke.
Gosh, when you're flying a yoke?
They move the seat, not the yoke. Very few aircraft have adjustable controls because, you got all the linkages and everything. It's much easier just to move the seat.
The graph says,
Max. Okay. That ring was the hardest part to fit yet. But I got it finally. Because there is an upside down and the diagram doesn't really show you that well, but...
Yeah, anyway. But the crowd, your belly isn't on YouTube. Terrain, pull up.
Man, that is the one thing no pilot ever wants to hear. There. Maybe that'll work a little bit better for you. Hey, it actually focused. All right.
Ryan says, and poor Max still can't get this ring part into position.
I just did, finally. Okay, now...
Is this thing you're working on the middle of the rocket?
That's the lower 2/3 of it. It's gonna go together like this. It's gonna go together like that, or it's gonna go together like this. Oops, sorry, like this. Okay.
Rob Office says, they moved the cat.
Real quick, guys.
Rob Office says,
Let
they
me
moved the cockpit for Max.
let me expand this so I can show you guys something real quick. Okay. The Soyuzes. These, you have 5 sets of boosters. Each is a cluster of 4 engines. All right. And the these ones on the outside are strap-on boosters. Don't say it. They're strap-ons. That's the technical name. The center cluster of 4 is this skinny part in the rocket. It looks weird because the skinny end's pushing the big end. Don't say it. So when the strap-on boosters are on, it looks very different. But that's the yes, this is the top of the rocket, and that's the bottom of the rocket.
So that's like the center of the rocket, so to speak.
More or less, yes.
Okay.
William says, you do need to pull back more so we can easily see what you're doing, because I was receiving your big paws getting into your glue.
And yeah, I was gonna hang the camera straight down, but I have a tripod in here, so but it will go together like this. And
what scale is this thing?
1 to 150.
Oh, no wonder it's so small.
B2 and B1. I think now I'm going to start building all the skirts that go around it. You'll start to recognize it then because they'll blouse out down here on the bottom. They'll
Sorry, Nathan, I'm not going to say that one on air.
Yes, please. I've been in YouTube jail once, you know. All right.
Dario said, well, Max said, let me expand this so I can show you something real quick. I nearly closed my browser.
It adds a new definition to flash mob. I'm flashing the mob. Oh, come on, that was a good one. Okay, let's see.
Yeah, can you believe he writes his own material?
Writing? Who writes anything?
Lots of jokes going on about strap-ons.
Yes, that's why I said don't say it. They can write it, you just can't say it.
And now a word from our sponsor, Slim Fast.
You realize, Ken, if we keep up on this path, Monica will hunt us.
I think that's in the rearview mirror. Okay, one.
I don't know. She might be laughing in there really hard, too.
Yeah.
But let's hope. We can only hope. My Tom Fox says his inner 12-year-old has an inner 7-year-old that's really cracking up.
Doesn't that make him an inner 19-year-old?
Or 5.
Yeah, depending on which way you go with the numbers.
Come on, guys. You really want us to say that?
No.
This is a family show. We need to keep this within the bounds of, civility.
I got that kill switch on the microphone right here.
Lance says the jokes write themselves.
They really kind of do. These aren't even jokes. This is banter. But I got to admit, some of it's pretty bloody clever. And you know what this is? This isn't a live stream. This is a bunch of clowns that get together and make fun of each other because we're guys and that's what we do. And Sarah Jane.
It's Top Gear. It's Top Gear without the cars.
Yeah. Well, that makes you James May.
Well, I thought Ken was James May.
Wait a minute. Who's the annoying one? Who's the big, tall, annoying one?
He's the smart one.
Huh?
LeMay's the smart one.
Wait, I'm sorry. Which one is the big, tall one that keeps getting fired?
Jeremy.
Jeremy Clarkson. Yeah, you're also. You guys are both taller than me, so you're Jeremy Clarkson.
Oh, and so you're Richard.
I guess.
The guy who always winds up in the hospital.
Okay.
No, the guy who always winds up in the hospital.
Yeah, okay, that would probably be my role.
with exacto cuts all over his hands.
There you go, baby.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Top Gear.
Hey, baby, this thing.
Half nude girls.
This thing isn't gonna kill. This thing isn't gonna build itself. Working
Clowns? No, but a sideshow, yes.
I'm gonna call them boosters. If I call them the other name, you guys are just gonna keep. I'm encouraging it. Okay, now, let's. Okay. Oh.
So far, this is much more fun than last week.
F2. Got a bunch of F2s.
Meanwhile, these parts go together pretty easy.
I got to give this GOODSMILE company credit. This is almost on par with building a Gundam. There are a lot of press fits, although I'm using glue. Some of them you will need glue, though. It is not a totally press fit kit. Not if you not if you want the parts not to fall off. I mean, you probably could press fit it, but let's see. And then I got to put. Let's see. The engines go on there. Those are E13. Oh, it's an E13. Oh, okay. This is going to get a little more complicated now. Okay, first let's put these in. And yeah, this is going to take a little.
Waking up with mystery bruises and a nasty itch. And where are you at night, Trent?
Well, come on. Isn't that kind of any kind of post-prom night?
Nathan says, hey, all joking aside, where are exactly the straps that hold those boosters to the rocket? I don't see them.
They're internal.
Straps? You don't need no straps.
Hey,
remember, Max,
if Raquel Welch can run around with if Raquel Welch can make a strapless brassiere work, I'm pretty sure that they can make no external strap-on rocket boosters in the space program. Which, by the way, did you guys know that Playtex was the company that wound up, I think, they wound up making the spacesuits?
Well,
Ken, wasn't it Playtex that got the contract to make the spacesuits?
Yeah.
What?
They were... When NASA was looking at the early spacesuits, they were looking at these big, heavy, clunky metal things like diving bell type suits.
Mm-hmm.
And they were like, well, we needed to be flexible and do all this stuff. And they realized there was one company around that actually had engineers who knew how to make very flexible, extremely durable clothing. And it was Playtex. Okay, E13.
That's Super A after the action report.
What's that? Oh, okay, yeah. One thing I like about this has got a plastic that's a hint rubbery, kind of like the Gundams.
No, Alco scream. Raquel Welch is dead.
Yeah, too bad. She died
last year.
That's what they want you to think. She's on the other side. She's on the dark side of the moon dancing with Elvis and Jimi Hendrix. I think my favorite line from Men in Black is, Elvis didn't die, he just went home.
Yeah, that was good.
Okay, F6.
Nathan says, really, Max? You're trying to keep this family friendly, yet you've gone from strap-on booster rockets now on to Playtex astronaut suits?
Hey, there's nothing unfamily friendly about that. That's just history. That is history.
It is. It is.
If I was going to be unfamily friendly, I'd go, and a step beyond that, which I'm not going to do. Of course, fortunately,
Yes, they did, John Ashley.
Okay, that's E13, F6, and F2. Okay, better put the F6 in first so I don't get mixed up.
Howard designed it.
Did they call them living spacesuits?
Not really sure. Would have been okay if they did, because that's what you did on them. All right, Steve, what is it?
Nothing.
You were laughing way too hard for that to be nothing.
He thought that was funny.
What?
It was funny.
What was funny?
Spacesuits, remember Living Bob?
Oh yeah, I remember that. No, yeah, it said that's what they should have called them, because that's what you do on them. They could have tied into their advertising program. Okay, I may be about to lose my first part
They
here.
called them booby traps.
And the children are out. Okay. Well, I got to admit, you're going to talk about this stuff. You're kind of inviting it, so.
Max brought up Raquel Welch, and we all remain family friendly. I call that progress.
It is. Wow. Getting this little piece. This is one of those little, not sustainer. Well, like a vernier.
That's where the term lift and separate come from.
Oh, yeah. I remember that. Lifts and separates.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
used to show it on a mannequin too, because they couldn't even use.
Yeah, they couldn't use a real mom. I remember because I used to watch. We would watch soap operas with our maid. Yes, we had a maid. We all loved her dearly, Alberta. Anyway, and she watched her soap operas religiously, and those are the kind of commercials that aired all the time.
Suits didn't fit right when the person was cold.
I wasn't going to go there.
No.
That's a broad too far. There are more children commenting than watching.
Whoa. Okay, that part shot. I don't think I'm going to be able to get this piece in.
How's that? Get it away from the edge of the table.
Well, the thing is, Steve, is that the part is very small, so there's not a lot to grab onto. The hole is a little too small, so I have to use pressure, and it's the kind of thing that wants to go ping. It's already done it about 4 times. It's just been a miracle it hasn't gone off the table.
Can't you ruder out the hole?
That's what I'm doing right now. Well, pen vise is a little too small. I have to use the X-Acto knife.
I've heard that German TV is way more interesting than ours.
Oh yeah, the Europeans don't have a problem with boobies.
Just like newspapers.
Yeah, I was when I went to Munich on vacation. I went up to Zugspitz and I was watching like the local TV. I was like, whoa, and I like and it turned out it was on. There we go. It was on every channel. All right, I'm going to put a little glue to. Now it's
like
seated. But, no, it's not like that. It's just a little topless stuff and stuff.
Sluggo says in Germany they actually showed the girl putting the bra on.
Yes, they do.
See, every culture's got its saving graces. Okay, guys, let's move on to the next topic.
H&X says, every time Max says, oops, drink.
You better have a large bottle. Okay, where'd that part just go?
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
Oh, got it.
Found
Found it with the Braille method. It was under my thumb. Under your thumb, cutest thing in the world.
Did Herman go down with a thruster malfunction? He's been gone a long time.
Who's that? All right. Got it. That's a lot of tiny little parts to stick in there. And I got to do it 3 more times.
Before the interwebs, those commercials in the Sears catalogs where we saw half-naked women.
Don't forget National Geographic. And the anatomy books at the...
Yeah, why do you think people collected those things?
Gee, do tell, Ken. They actually had an episode of Happy Days about that. Hey, I've been looking at the topless native women in National Geographic. Ah, Patsy. God, that show ruined the careers of Anson Williams and Donnie Most, Patsy Weber and Ralph Mouth. I mean, can you imagine? They did a couple of low-rent movies out of that, but you can imagine trying to go to audition being taken seriously after playing those characters.
I was on a rent-a-car bus in Kansas City with Patsy.
Oh, really?
Yep. And people were going up to him, and he was like, why are these people bothering me? He was just trying to get a rent-a-car and get out of Dodge.
Yeah. Well, like I say, that's, if I was him, I think I'd have grown a beard.
And we're still getting strap-on jokes.
Oh, I think that's going to be the... Okay.
So what are we up to now? What step are you on now?
Well, this is the second of 4 engines I have to stick these little tiny thruster and vernier thrusters into, and I'm telling you right now, if this thing goes ping, I'm not even going to go looking for it. It is tiny.
Meanwhile, this thing seems to be really well engineered, though.
It is. This never even heard of this Good Times Smile company. This is the only this and the ring are the only 2 pieces that have given me any real grief, and they have definitely slowed things to a trickle.
Trey says Max needs a Gandalf beard. Yeah, that's where all the extra parts that went flying would go.
Well, my concern is that if one of these lets go, this thing's going to go ping and bye-bye. Whoops. Okay, gotta grind it out a little more.
I'm rooting for the part.
Hey, screw you.
Meanwhile, you know what you should do? You should get a little piece of graph paper and hang it on the wall. And every part that goes to the carpet monster, you should check off. And at the end of the year, see how many parts that was.
Yeah. Carpet Monster 12 Max 3, something like that. Let's see, the E13.
Natasha says Strap-on is the Russian version of Snap-on.
Okay. Like you do.
Scale Model Apprentice says, Max, it's all one engine with 4 nozzles. So Soyuz had 5 engines in the main stage.
Is that how it worked? Okay, I'll take his word for it. I
I
know
don't
one
know.
thing. Those Russian engines are very well respected for reliability. I mean, not they haven't had their mistakes and everything, quality control issues from time to time, but overall, pardon the pun, but the Russians have done a bang-up job.
I thought they built them in pairs.
I don't know.
There's a reason for it.
Whoa!
Because,
Okay,
you know,
there it went. And that's one that I gotta have. And so we thought things were slow before. Wait till I start looking for this thing. Okay.
So you got, what, 2 of them done?
2
Yeah,
done,
2
2
more
to go. But I just shot one of the parts. Fortunately, it's one of the marginally larger parts. So I'm going to go under the table here and see how it went. I saw which way it went. I can't believe I didn't get a flashlight. See if I can do it with the cell phone.
How many does that make?
That's the first one.
Not bad.
Oh, there it is right there. Hallelujah.
Garfield says, 87 minutes into the video and a part goes pop.
Hey, that ain't bad. I'll take that as a win.
Yeah, not bad.
Look.
JM says, I still have a section of F-111 strike camera, he scrolled off, footage from when he, when he was ripping down the beach of, I don't know, some beach in France during their air show. Need to check for appreciative ladies.
Well, I will tell you a story about something like that. I know the guy who was involved. There was a AH-1 Cobra unit in Vietnam, and they now for those who don't know, the Cobra was the attack helicopter that we used in the later part of the Vietnam War. We're talking about the AH-1G, based on the UH-1 platform. Anyway, there were nurses that liked to sunbathe on top of the hospital, and the Cobra jocks would swing in low on their approach to the airfield, hoping to spy on a couple of scantily clad girls, which they occasionally did, and the girls loved to tease them. Army nurses mostly. And then one day, some genius got the bright idea. They were hanging commo wire, putting up power lines and communication lines around the base. And they strung up a pretty substantial communications and electrical supply cable on a high tension line. And one of these rotor heads came screaming in as fast as he could go, trying to impress the girls, and caught the skids on it.
Oh.
Now, at that speed, that Cobra wasn't stopping or going down, but the Cobra has a bolt-on skid. Even though it comes out of the skin, it's actually just bolted onto the bottom of the actual airframe. The skin around it's a fairing. And it sheared the skid off completely. And took the belly skin off also. And the chin turret with the 40 millimeter automatic grenade launcher and the 7.62 minigun.
Oops.
Well, that was a bolt-on unit that just went into the. It was designed to be able to be removed for maintenance. Got 3 of them done. That one actually went pretty good. So he goes back to the airfield and he's hovering, and everybody's looking, and he's got no skid. He's got no belly turret. He's got no chin turret. He's got a chain of 7.62 ammo, a belt of 7.62 ammo hanging out of the thing. And he's like, and all the skin's missing. So they tell him to hover, and the crew chiefs, this is where the enlisted men save the day, the crew chiefs come up with an idea. They said, tell him just to hover low. We're going to set up some sandbags. And what they did was they set up some, they packed some sandbags, made a real square base, and he hovered down on it, but he had to stay in the hover. Because what they did was they started piling the sandbags up around it as he hovered. And they just built, with him, fortunately he had plenty of fuel left. And it didn't take that long, I guess, but they basically built up, they dammed him up. And then when he was able to set on it and lower a little collective, take a little pressure off the blades, and the thing pretty much set straight. So he was able to shut it down once the torque was removed from the rotors and everything. It just came to a stop. And he goes, everybody was patting themselves on the back and everything. Of course, the crew chiefs, they knew they were going to be up all night. But he said the amazing part was the next morning when he went out to the flight line, that helicopter was up on new skids with a new chin turret ready to go into a new belly skin, all fabricated on the spot, ready to go back to work. And he goes, I never appreciated how hard those crew chiefs worked until that night. And he said the other sad downfall was they made the nurses quit sunning on top of the roof.
I guess he had to tell him why he sheared the skids off, huh?
I don't think so, but I think it was kind of an open secret. So, it's not like everybody on the base didn't already know. And I imagine the pilot, I mean, it wasn't his fault. Everybody did it. He just happened to be the one unlucky guy that came there after they had, changed things. And note hams, gentlemen, notices to airmen. And all right. That's all 4 of them done. Now I got to put the big skirts on them. These are the... So. And it just says to repeat the same thing.
All the engines done.
All the engines done. So now I'm working on the side-mounted boosters. Ha ha! So you do something with that one.
Oh, I'm sure somebody will come up with something.
Glad Natasha, you're up.
He said mounted. Nope, we're not going to go there. Just had a thought, just going to keep it to myself. So,
Luann says that Cobra pilot had to be nicknamed Skids after that.
Oh my God, that would be the perfect, yeah. Hey, one of the police officers I worked with had like 4 minor traffic accidents his first year as a cop and got the nickname Crash. And it took him like 10 years to shake that nickname.
That's what we called our driver's ed teacher.
Crash,
In the middle of driver's ed, he got into a huge accident. He was in the hospital for like 2 weeks. And he comes back with a sling and his head's bandaged. And he says, "Hey, Crash, how you doing?"
Because we're a merciful lot. All right, let's see. That and that and that. So these two just go together. And then the motor.
Did he ever get a talking to from the CO?
Probably. Yeah. Well, that's like my neighbor, who scored the MiG kill. They lost 2 Phantoms in that mission. They all got hauled before the Admiral. And I was like, "Why, you guys didn't do anything wrong?" He goes, "You don't lose 2 Phantoms on one mission in a dogfight because they ran out of gas and not have to go to the Admiral and answer for it." And I was like, "You ran out of gas because your wing was shot full of holes. All the fuel was leaking at you, and you were on fire. You didn't run out of gas. You ejected because your plane was burning and the tail burned off." And he goes, "Yeah, but the other guy just ran out of gas, so the Admiral wanted answers." I'm like, "Well, I guess that's fair." Okay. And then this.
KOSC says, just before I got to Grissom Air Force Base, Indiana, a girl was on top of the barracks sunbathing in a bikini. She fell asleep. Someone got a fish net, put it over her. When she woke up, she had a unique tan.
God.
Oh.
You got to remember that most servicemen are teenagers. And I do remember when I was in the Army at Fort Campbell, we had the shortcut we took from one of the little shopettes to our barracks. Took you through a little wooded area. It was a path, a trail. And I'm walking through it one day, and there is this girl in a bikini just out there. And she wasn't getting much sun because we were in the trees. And she was just there. And I was like, "Ma'am, are you okay?" And she's like, "What?" And apparently she was new and didn't know people. She didn't figure out from the footpath that there was actually a lot of foot traffic through there. So she real sheepishly covered. So I was like, "Oh, it's okay." She said, "People come through here, and all the time. The shopette's over there. The barracks is over there. You're going to have 1,000 guys." I thought maybe she was there to meet guys. Because that would have been the place to do it. But, she wrapped up her stuff.
She was like, Captain Stillman, what are you doing here?"
Yeah. And Barnaky, Bill Barnaky. She packed up and bugged out, and I was like, "Oh, darn." No, went and ruined it for everybody, but probably for the best. Not everybody's a nice guy, Wrong sort comes by, and yeah, sadly even got him in the military. But sometimes I'll wonder how many aircraft have been crashed, wrecked, or busted up because somebody's showing off to the girls.
Max, where are you putting that booster you're putting together?
I'm not sure I like the tone of that question, Ken.
Oh, it's looking kind of weird.
It's going on the rocket.
And where's the rocket?
Right here. I know you're running a little behind on when you see it from when I do it. Whoops. Get back in there. Hold on.
Okay. All right. Well, it's going down off the edge of the desk, and I don't know what you're doing with
it. I can't get in trouble for what you can't see. There we go. All right. So one more.
Scale Model Apprentice says his nickname is Soup, but he has no idea why. Now, what are some of the nicknames that you have from your groups of friends?
Well, my family nickname was always Moose. That's pretty self-evident. In the Army, I got the nickname Melonhead. I wonder where that came from. We had this one alcoholic in our unit. When I got there, he was nearing his end of time, and so they're actually kicking him out for being an alcoholic. And he was a decent guy. He's a pretty good car mechanic. He just he's a real more a beeraholic, but anyway. And he was kind of the go-to guy for nicknames. He took one look at me and went, Melonhead! And it stuck.
Ken, how about you?
I've never had a nickname, really.
Ken didn't have a lot of friends.
No, I didn't. And the ones I did were usually too intelligent to use a nickname anyway.
Oh.
Watch your eyes, guys.
Just don't pull the shirt up.
Nah, but I just want to, where you can see what we've done so far a little bit better. Okay, now these little fins go on the outside. What's the part number on those? It's F11.
Nathan says, hold on, wait. You can get kicked out of the military for drinking too much? I thought that was one of the requirements of being in the military.
It depends on when you were in. I came to that point where they were cracking down on that stuff. But yes, there was a time when it was more of a prerequisite. If you didn't drink, the boys didn't trust you. If you didn't cuss and drink, they were like, what is wrong with that guy? Sorry. You can see the camera.
Nick Sluggo says his nickname, his oldest cousins called him as a little kid was Barney, before the purple Barney. Probably Barney from Mayberry.
Yep.
Barney
Ange.
from the Flintstones.
Yeah.
Huh?
That's a possibility.
Yeah. Barney Rubble and Barney Fife are kind of the two well-known Barneys.
Is it finished?
No, it's getting there, though.
Oh, he's just got the booster done.
Well, he's got a lot of the rockets on it, you know.
Okay. This piece doesn't want a seat. There we go.
Super PLZ says he worked with two brothers a long time ago, nicknamed Flaky and Shaky.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some backstory on that.
Nathan says, I believe that the guys that didn't drink or cuss in the military were referred to as nervous Nellies, and you did not want a nervous Nelly in your unit.
Not if it was a combat unit, especially.
I guess I wouldn't have worked out too well.
Can use occasional foul language.
Occasionally, when I get really frustrated or mad.
We had one guy who was in our unit who was a Mormon. He was a good soldier, but Overdorf, that was his name. But he being a Mormon, he didn't cuss or drink or anything. But he would hang out with us when we did. He didn't seem to be too bothered by it. He'd been in the Air Force, and I was like, Overdorf, why would you leave the Air Force to come in the Army? It looked like a better thing. I was like, okay, you're not the brightest bulb in the box, are you? And then he told us about being an SP in the Air Force, and I was like, okay, the Air Force, it's not as easy as it sounds. He goes, have you ever been to Minot, North Dakota? I was like, no, I have not. He goes, I have a motto up there. Why not Minot? Freezing's the reason. He goes, 3 days in sub-zero temperature, and I had to stand out there with my rifle and guard a Gal 8 Gatling gun in a revetment. This was not the fun travel and adventure I'd been expecting. Then when I was a pilot, one of our guys was an Air Force Reservist in SP, and during the first Gulf War, he goes to Spain and does the same thing. I figured, well, you speak Spanish and everything, so you ought to have a good time. He goes, dude, we couldn't leave the base. It was wartime footing, and I was standing out on a tarmac guarding airplanes by myself. He goes, it's like, geez. Glad I didn't join the Air Force.
Nathan says you don't want to find back at your heart surgeon's nickname is Old Shaky.
Garfield said, I got called Hey You a lot.
Lance says I had some guys in my ship in the Navy, Flounder, Chow Dog, and Speedy.
Guys, the rocket's done.
You finished it?
Yeah. The rest of this is all the carrier and the launch pad, which I'll build later.
Well,
But,
do that now.
Huh? I think everybody's a little tired of watching me nip and tuck all these parts with this bad camera angle and everything. And you guys want me to keep going, I'll keep going. But the rocket is done. And that was about 6, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41. About 60 parts.
And nobody got hurt.
Hold on.
Yeah, nothing got lost.
But there's something, hold on, you know what? There's something else I can do. Since I'm not putting this inside, I'm going to pluck the little folded solar panels off, and I'm going to put the other ones on because this comes with its own standalone stand for a separate display. Okay. Let me get that panel back.
I didn't hear no bell.
Ding. I thought about triggering a 24-hour build at the end of the show, but tomorrow's my last day at home before I have to go back to work, so I can't, I don't want to get committed to that. But, whoa, come back here. But we'll...
William says it's a world's record we're having here, folks.
It's hard to believe that a kit with more parts that you went to better than the other one.
Well, you didn't have cough syrup for this one.
That's true.
Okay, where's my other solar panel?
And we knew all the engines went in the back.
Just like the Volkswagen.
You mean the Godzilla hauler?
Yeah, that's it, baby. It's still over Hurricane Hobbies on display. It's Godzilla's other little go-kart.
Okay, let's have a vote. Should Max keep on working on it, or should we go on to something else?
Say forge ahead.
Yeah, they're all like, he hasn't cut himself yet. Come on, keep cutting.
Nathan
No blood.
says, let's transfer over to Max After Dark.
Ah,
Let himself go get some quartz, some cough serum, and we'll turn the show blue. Brian says the suggested ages on the box say 5 to 7.
what?
Brian says the suggested ages on the box are 5 to 7.
Not on this box.
Frank says it looks good, but it ain't no Volkswagen bus.
Oh, I beg to differ. It is very much the space Volkswagen bus.
A lot of people are voting for the After Dark.
Yeah.
All right.
Build the transporter with the addition of corn syrup.
Ah,
Syrup.
maybe out of
Forge
cough
ahead,
syrup.
model on.
Let's see. What do we got here? Gotta go back to the front of the book. Let's see here.
Matt can keep going until he passes.
L6 and
until his pass
L5.
expires.
L6 and L5. La, 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 la.
Ta-da! Finished.
It's amazing. It's a rocket.
There's L6.
And then next week you could paint it.
It's pretty much molded in color. Not a whole few decals.
Forward and onward. Never surrender, never give up. Nathan says, you know what, Craig? You just gave me an idea for a new Max channel.
The weirdness will now begin.
Max, Star City called. They said you're hired.
Ah! Da. Spasibo, comrade.
Oh, Steel Model Apprentice says, we should have a trooper homecoming at Hurricane Hobbies when Max stops working. All 120 of us.
That'd be cool. All right. There's the capsule as a separate build. Here's the rocket. The rocket.
Right down for that.
Maybe we can have softball and then give us a few words.
Who's that?
Maybe we can have Trump come by and give us a few words.
That's right.
Very, very, very fine builds. Very fine people. All right. Well, let's see if I got to build the launcher. Flip this over here. What am I looking at? G3 and G2, G1.
Yeah, what's a rocket without a launcher?
Gee whiz.
And it hasn't fallen over?
Give it time.
All right.
I can't think there's that many parts to the hauler.
Oh, actually, it's probably more complicated than the rocket. Let me see.
Robert Rodriguez wants to know, is this a snap kit?
A lot of the parts do seem to press fit, but no, it's not actually a snap kit. Let me see if I can. All right.
Lance says Lance needs a snack break with a tube of Russian space food.
A little can of borscht. A tube of borscht. Beet soup. Good God, no wonder they're always angry at the world. G1, G11. We'll put this here for motivation.
Now get the scale figure for the Soyuz that looks like the Russian cosmonaut from Armageddon. Don't touch anything.
Yeah, that was old Peter Stormare. I'm big man in Russian space program. Okay, these are all G1.
Kevin Paulson, that says that's a cool looking rocket.
Yeah, of course these four skirts, pop off after they burned out, and the one in the middle pushes it the rest of the way. They're basically there just to lift the fuel.
Crazy says the kit just makes you snap.
Okay, G11. Here's G1.
Like bingo.
Yeah, really. And then this.
So how big is the launch thingy?
It's bigger than a rocket. Oh, these are railroad wheels that I'm working on now. That's what they are. Because they rail it. We use that big transporter, but they rail them.
Andy wants to know, do the Russians still fly this rocket?
Oh yeah. I mean, imagine it's an updated version, but yes. Okay. Oh.
William says, you put that satellite so close that it looks real.
Yeah.
In Russia, everything is big.
Okay, I'm looking at
that was
that.
Texas.
That.
Schlegel says, F, this is exciting.
There we go. A little trouble getting that to snap on there. Okay. Yes, I'm using my teeth.
Go ahead, Ken.
That one took a minute to figure out. Garfield says, Max changed nationalities with this build. When building the rocket, he was a Russian. Now he is a Finnish.
Okay, that was cute.
William says, do you ever watch grass grow in the summertime? We're about watching the same.
You're doing it pretty much right now.
Lemur Crazy said, this is the quietest Max has ever been.
Well, you guys are supposed to be carrying the freight.
He has obviously never had a meal with Max.
Hey, I eat loud too.
Because for about 10 minutes you get to talk interrupted.
Uninterrupted.
Right. That's why didn't I say that?
You said interrupted.
Sort of.
Close enough. Anyway, yeah. For about 10 minutes you get to talk uninterrupted.
Depending on how good the food
But
is.
there's a lot of other noise going on in the background.
Yeah. But then I look up from my plate and his is empty and I'm still on the first 10
Ken,
bites.
you are one of the slowest eaters I have ever known in my life.
And then he stacks the plates up and sticks them at the end of the table.
Yeah, I'm bad about doing that at restaurants, and I know you call it stacking, and apparently I think I'm helping, but apparently it irritates everybody. I just don't like all that clutter, man.
It's like a dog at a bowl.
Yum yum yum. Hey, dogs at bowls are the happiest dogs in the world. Okay, one more. Nope. 6 more. Jeez, how many freaking load of mo could it, how many trucks does this thing have to have?
Andy wants to know, should the solar panels be shiny copper color? Shouldn't they be like aluminum color?
I believe the ones on the Russian aircraft ships are. I believe they are blue. Yes, that is correct. That's the way they had me paint my Soyuz when I did the Revell Soyuz Apollo Soyuz kit. But they do have aluminum silver edges, the metal bracing around it. But the actual solar panel itself, I believe, was blue.
William, what's the movie?
Sligo says, Nathan, Ken and Steve need to be on the show with Max. Max After Dark with my buddies.
And we can only zoom that in. But after we end here, I got to end on time because I want dinner. That apple I had a while ago is long gone.
Yeah, Barry, you know what I'm talking about. You've had a meal with us.
Slurp, chop a lob, chew. And what fun we had!
We did. That was a good meal.
That was when I gave me that. That's when he gave me that man in space, the MMU astronaut, which is still hanging in the garage, which is still hanging in the garage. Monica helped. She did the face on it. Man, that thing looked good when she was done. She was like, "That's a terrible job." I'm like, not by our standards, because she's with those doll repainters who, man, that stuff they do is unbelievably realistic.
William says, that's your tip for the waiter, stack the plates up?
No, I tip very generously, in fact. Provided I get decent service, and Ken knows that. Come on.
No, he's actually very nice to the servers.
I know
he tips generously, and he always talks to them very nicely.
Well, I know that they put up with a lot of crap. F12 and F13. And actually, Ken, although I already knew that, you reinforce that, because for those who don't know, Ken has a lot of experience in the restaurant business.
Yep. I used to have a restaurant point of sale program, so I was in lots of restaurants. I usually ended up training a lot of the servers on how to use the program too.
You're probably training them in how to serve the food.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
One of them, a few of them, I had to actually teach them how to use a register and how to properly give change. And what I mean by that is that when somebody gives you a 10, you don't put the 10 in the till. You leave it sitting on top of the register until you're done giving the change.
Right.
Because people go, hey, I gave you a 20.
Exactly. And I actually had to teach some of the servers to do that.
Well, my dad taught me that because I worked in the hardware store, but, and we did, of course, it was retails. But you think about it, Ken, if you've never worked in the business, it's not intuitive.
No, it's not.
It's just a little bit of the trade craft.
You don't expect people to do stuff like that.
Yeah, unfortunately, I tell you, working in a restaurant or being a police officer or working at a hospital, you'll start losing your faith in people pretty quick. And Ken, you taught me something a long time ago that turned out to be very, very true. And we actually, you and I both saw it at that steakhouse in Georgia, that the people who steal the most, I mean, your employees are the biggest. I don't want to say that restaurant employees are thieves, but employee theft is one of the biggest problems, and family are no exception to that.
Yep. especially bartenders. They're really bad about it.
And Ken and I saw him put on. He was like, he could tell that the family was robbing the parents blind. That's it's kind of a heartbreaking thing. I mean, you're stealing from your own.
Whenever I put an assistant into a restaurant, if somebody who worked there complained a whole lot about, oh, we don't need a system, this is a big waste of money. Sadly, they were usually the ones that were stealing from the restaurant.
Yeah, because they didn't want a record.
That's right.
That's right. And what's really stupid is sometimes they would just keep right on doing it.
Never take a waitress out to dinner. Okay.
Huh.
I have to ask Tiger Woods about that.
Oh, yeah.
There's actually, I didn't know this, but there's actually a book out there on all the tricks that servers and especially bartenders use to steal from owners.
Yeah.
Because I considered writing one once, and somebody told me, "Oh, they already did that." And I said, "Really? That book could go both ways."
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're giving people ideas as well as helping prevent them.
Mm-hmm.
And 10. And 8.
Yeah. Well, I had this one restaurant customer one time. They called me up and said, "I think our manager is stealing from us," and he was an old family friend. And he said, "I need you to go back and look and see if he's been stealing from us." And he said the other servers were telling him that the owners that he was doing this. And they told me what he was doing, and I discovered there was a bug on my program that allowed him to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So I went back, and from near as I could tell, he had been stealing from them for about 9 months.
Ooh.
Yeah, long time. And they said,
Cha-ching.
can you print up a report of all the stuff that he may have stolen? And I said, yeah, sure, I can do that. So I printed it up, and it came to, I think it came to like about $2,000. And so I sent the report off to the owners, and they confronted him. And I may have included some things in there that he didn't actually steal, but what is he going to say? Oh yeah, I stole that, but not that.
Good way to cover your tracks, Ken. Blame the guilty guy for something he didn't do, making him the innocent guy. Very morally ambiguous.
Yeah, well, he stole far more than what he may have accidentally put on there.
Mm-hmm.
Far more.
I'm just
And
teasing you.
They fired him.
Oh,
You
okay.
think?
Oh, I actually had some other restaurants that asked me to do that, and they actually called the police on them.
That's what they're for. I have no heartburn with that.
Nope. And after a while, I just wrote a report that allowed them to be able to get that information on their own.
Keep you above
But
the
I fixed the
fray.
bug, so they couldn't do it anymore.
One would
That
think.
probably annoyed the hell out of them.
You're robbing from their children what they're robbing from their owner.
Yeah, there was all kinds of things bartenders would do. They were in a unique situation that they created the product that they actually sold. So they were on both ends of it. With the kitchen, they were making it, and if it's going out, it better, somebody better collect money on it. But at the bartender, the only way you can really catch them is that when you do inventory and you say, hey, why, you sold this many drinks, why is this much liquor missing? So what the bartenders would do is they would take the money, they would leave the drawer open. Instead of close it after every sale, they would leave it open. And then they would pretend to put the money in the drawer. And then for every certain amount of money that they would pretend to put in, they would put a quarter on top of the drawer. So that they could keep, that's how they kept track of how much they kept out of the drawer. So at the end of the night, when they weren't ringing stuff up, they could make sure that the amount of money they were turning in matched their sales.
Mm-hmm.
Because this one restaurant is a huge country restaurant, country western place. It had dozens of bars. They wouldn't tell the cashiers what their ring out should be.
Things you got to do to try to keep people honest.
Gomez Adams, model railroad legend.
Wasn't that Uncle Fester?
That was Gomez.
That was Gomez?
That was Gomez.
Uncle Fester was the
I think Fester's
electrical company's
yeah.
buddy.
Yeah, he's the guy with the glowing light bulb.
Wait a second.
Uncle Fester, the man for who a law was written for.
The Uncle Fester law.
The Jackie Coogan law. He was a fairly productive child star in the silent movie days, and his parents squandered his fortune, left him penniless. And when he got older, he, went to his parents and wanted to buy a house and a car and stuff, and there was no money, so he sued them. And it went to court, and they found them guilty, but they couldn't recover most of the money. So they turned around and there's a law called the Jackie Coogan law that a certain percentage, which is very high, of what all child stars make have to go into like a trust. Good. So that the parents can't run through the money.
Did you ever hear Jodie Whittaker's story on that from Family Affair?
No.
He said that when he got out of high school, graduated, and he turned 18, he went to his parents for the money, and they said, okay, and it was $90,000, which he didn't question, because in 69 or 70, whenever it was, 75, that was a lot of money. And then years later, once he realized, okay, it was a lot of money, but I should have made a lot more, he went and asked his parents, he goes, where did the rest of the money go? And their answer, he said, was perfect. It was to your sister's college, to your brother's braces. Basically, the family was living and supporting the family off of what he made. They weren't careless with the money. They were actually quite careful with it. But he was like, oh, okay. So he didn't realize he had been the primary breadwinner of the family for the whole time he was doing the show. But they were careful of what they didn't need. They put away for him. And he wound up becoming a computer techie.
Unfortunately, the case with many child stars, even with the law in place, is that they support the family.
Yeah. Well, the good thing about it, though, was at least they didn't squander it.
Well, shouldn't he have been given a choice?
And not as a minor. Well, today they probably would, but he was a minor, so. Minor, not minor.
And he trusted his parents,
And they didn't, they didn't screw him over or anything. They just, look, this is how the family, survived. And he's like, oh. And he was like, okay, I get it. He was good with it. But he was like, yeah, okay. And, but because don't forget, they were supporting him while he was, taking care of him and everything. So it was a mutual thing. But it wasn't a sad story, but he would have probably had about, 2 or 3 times as much money afterwards. But like he said, I went through it relatively quickly. And so it's probably better that they spent it the way they did than letting me get it when I was 18. This is a slightly complicated part. 3 pieces to it.
One of the guys that I worked with on my very first programming job, his mother died and left him a small inheritance of about, I think it was like about $8,000, which back then was quite a sum of money.
Mm-hmm.
He decided to spend it wisely. he had his car modified and cut the wheel wells out of the back so it had room to put large, big, slick tires in the back.
Oh.
Had the rear axle cut down so that the tires would fit up underneath the car, and spent just about all of it on this car.
Yep.
You idiot.
Do you remember those commercials they did for a while about investing? And the guy says, look, I call it, they're in the garage. He goes, I call it the microchip. It's going to revolutionize computing. I just need $300 seed money to get it, the prototype, and get it prototyped. He goes, dude, I already had plans for the money. And at the end, he goes, did you miss your great investing opportunity? And then at the end, the guy pulls up in his Gremlin and holds up an 8-track and look, dude, 8-track. Yuck, yuck, yuck.
How's it looking over there? You got 15 minutes.
All right, we're making progress. There's no way. Whoa, no way I'm getting it done, but we are making progress. This is, to be clear, this is not a snap tight kit. A lot of this stuff is having to be glued in place.
That's what he did. He said, I always wanted one of these. Yeah, well, you got it. You pretty much
Famous last words.
Yeah, I'm sure he when he sold the car, he didn't get anything back for all that. Dumb.
Yep. But Ken, the day they make stupid a crime, we're all under threat.
They don't make it a law when you inherit something. You got to put it in the bank for 3 months and you can't touch it.
Yeah. There are a lot of people that might benefit from that, but that's why my plan is to spend my retirement. I didn't work for it for other people to spend it.
Are you gonna have one of those stickers on your bumper car? So I'm spending my child's inheritance.
Yeah, something along those lines. Okay, there's the part of the trailer assembly.
What? Those look like railroad car trucks.
They are.
They are. They are.
That's exactly what they are. Choo choo choo. This thing goes out on rails.
I guess
Tom Fox says it's okay if you don't finish, Max. The Soviets launched stuff that wasn't finished all the time.
Okay, let's see. This is 13 and 13 in the big part. All right, let's see.
Stuart says, heard Will Wheaton has some weird stuff with his parents.
The worst of the lot was probably the girl. Jodie's parents were angels compared to Anissa's, Buffy. Her mom was in charge of it. She squandered every freaking penny of it. When she died, she was working in a donut shop.
Jesus.
She was only like 18 or 19. She OD'd. She'd been on drugs and gotten off of them and then went to a party and some people got her back into it. They're crying shame. By all accounts, a really sweet kid.
Hey, look at Amanda Bynes.
Well, who? Which one was Amanda Bynes?
Huh?
Which one was Amanda Bynes?
Who's the one who had the Amanda Show on Nickelodeon?
Oh, I never saw that.
And
Never watched that.
She did a couple of movies and then it just kind of stopped and she couldn't deal with it and just went off the deep end.
That's sad. Very, very sad.
Very sad.
Okay. This is E3.
The crowd says, I have no grandkids. Hence, models, motorcycles, and weed is my budget plan.
Well, at least you got a plan. It's funny. Older I get, the less concerned I get about these things.
The thing looks like a rail car.
It is a rail car. Let's see. Yep. Okay, where it goes there.
a center flat car.
That's exactly what it is.
What scale is this thing?
1 to
It's
150.
at 142.
1 to 150.
150. Oh, that's real close to N scale.
Uh-huh. Okay, let's see. Goes there, and there.
Do the wheels move on those trucks?
No, they're just stamped.
Oh. 187th is HO scale.
Mm-hmm.
N scale is I believe N scale is 144th.
I believe that is correct.
Andy says he just watched an animation of the whole Soyuz launch process and said this is a very accurate model.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. 160th. That's right. 160th. The wheels don't move. It's a cheap model.
Well, at this scale, moving wheels would be a real freaking nightmare to deal with.
Ah, nice scale model, Princess.
1/160th.
Yeah.
For him.
And this is 1 150th.
Yeah, the scale model
so...
said you got an HO scale Challenger.
Shit.
That's a cool engine.
All right, just dropped a part.
Lemur Crazy wants to know if you're 3D printing anything lately, Ken.
I just printed up another booster for the Starship for I hope I remember his name correctly. I think it's Jim. He's the one that bought the Starship model, and he wanted the booster for it.
Meanwhile, the crowd says any scale smaller than 1/16th is stealth abuse.
Yeah, the older guys don't usually go with N scale.
Gosh, I wonder why. Oh, I wonder. I'm going to pick the hair out of this one now. Let's try this again.
That's why O scale is so popular.
Yeah, it's bigger. You can see what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. I have G scale. What does that tell you?
Yeah, you keep your proclivities to yourself. I don't hear about your G spot.
Z scale or Z gauge is very expensive. Actually, I think Ian has some in the store.
He does. Those little things you can get and run them around on your desk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you can put an entire big layout right on your
in a
desk.
coffee table.
Yep.
I watched a video that some guy did that. He cut the top of the inner, inside the edges, cut the top off, and then built a whole layout in the coffee table, and then you would lift the top off to see it.
Mm-hmm.
T gauge? I've never heard of T gauge.
Yeah, it sounds
Heard of
familiar.
T-gauge.
G scale is, well, it depends on the manufacturer.
It's 1/32nd, isn't it?
Well, some manufacturers do 1/32, some do 1/48.
148 is O scale.
No, 128. 128. That's right. Not
128,
1/32. 128.
Yeah, because the G just means garden, so.
Right. There's actually 4 different scales that use that size track.
The thing that's amazing is you would not believe how many people have G-gauge outdoor railroads in Colorado.
Yeah, I think I've heard something about
the
that.
Land, so you got so much land out there, you can do it.
Yeah, but the winters are brutal. I mean,
Well, you don't railroad in the winter, I guess.
My G-scale stuff is mostly in my closet. I take it out a few times a year for my grandson to play with.
Along with his cape and his Lieutenant Uhura uniform.
Right with you, John Ashley.
G-scale can also be 1/22 and a half to 1. But you're talking about not scale. You're talking more like, I call it G gauge, which is the width of the track. That track uses 4 different scales.
So Brian wants to know, okay, who came up with these scales? Was there a reason, or did it just fit in the box and then measure it?
That's actually a pretty good question.
Well, real railroads, there's something called narrow gauge. It's kind of a loose collection of different gauges that are less than standard gauge, which is what all the major railroads use. And the reason for the narrow gauge is because they were using them in mines and mining trains, and they could turn a lot sharper, so they could maneuver around the mountains faster. Well, people like to model that, but when you use a specific size track, like the G gauge track, if you want it to be to scale, then the equipment has to be
different size,
larger to be able to make the track the correct gauge. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really, emphatic.
Yeah, I bet you're just thrilled to hear that. Lionel is O gauge. Lionel did make some G gauge, but it wasn't real good quality, and they didn't make it for very long.
Yeah, model railroaders are not people. I mean, when when you're dealing with a kid's Tyco set, that's one thing. When you start getting into the more serious stuff and the adults, you got to have some pretty good quality stuff. You're not going to stay in business because they're very, very particular. Well, they're like kit model builders in that regard.
Oh yeah. Actually, the crowd standard gauge is 4 feet 8.5 inches. Yep. Stream just got it. You know why the half inch?
This trailer is turning out to be pretty difficult to get some of these parts to go together.
Anybody curious about why it's 8.5 inches?
Oh, tell us, Ken. Tell us. Why?
Steve?
Go ahead.
Are you sitting on the edge of your seat waiting for this one?
I am. I can hardly hold the phone.
Well, when they went to 4 feet 8 inches, they discovered that when they went around a turn, that the wheels, the flanges, would really rub up against the edge of the rail, the inside of the rail. So rather than change the wheel width, they just made the track a half inch wider so that the flanges would fit better. Excuse me.
There you have it. You learned it here first, folks. Oh, for Pete's sake.
That's the way I heard it.
And we're not changing the story for anybody.
Oh, that's interesting.
What's
Rob
that?
Alpha says Lionel and MPC were once under the same ownership.
Yeah.
Fundamentals or General Mills.
Yeah, that's right. I actually
And
covered
was
that in one of the
downfall
videos.
Lionel.
General Mills decided to get involved in the toy business. Nabisco bought Aurora. Yeah, they were all trying to, expand their product lines.
And that was when they killed Lionel. The quality went right down the toilet.
Yeah. Alpha Stream says there was some 5 and the Erie Railroad was 6 foot gauge. That is true. At one time, back in I think it was the early 1800s, there was 6 foot gauge. But the problem was, if you wanted to connect with other railroads, what they would do is they would actually lift the car up off the trucks, move it over, and put it down on another set of trucks that would go on the other railroad. And they discovered after a while that was pretty inefficient. So that's when all the railroads decided to standardize on one gauge at 4 feet 8.5 inches. And so Erie had this really, really wide right of way because they had 6-foot gauge. So they would be able to handle some really wide roads, which is why the people GE, who made these enormous transformers, were made up in Pennsylvania, so they would transport them on the Erie line. Yeah, Lionel also made some HO stuff too. It was all right.
This is definitely the weakest part of this kit. These parts really don't want to fit.
There was when Max and I was in Alaska, one of the members of the railroad team up there that I was running equipment on at the time. He was also the one of the managers of the Alaska Transportation Museum. And there was an engine there. It was RS-1. It had a really low roof on it, and it came from Europe. It was a NATO engine, and they could change the gauge of the wheels without having to take the thing apart. The wheels would actually move in and out on the axles, so that they could travel across all the different gauge railroads in Europe.
Is that one that was painted up similar to an Alaska train?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a Missile Command headquarters or whatever it was.
Take care, Fran.
Well, guys, it's 9 o'clock. It's about as far as I'm going to go with this thing now. It's dinner time, but we did get a lot of the trailer done, although there's a lot more to it. This is only one part because you can see how the trailer is and how long the rocket is. So, but I got the rocket done, so I'm considering it a success.
Yeah, you did pretty good, and nobody got hurt.
Yet, night's not over yet.
No cuts, no scrapes, no blood.
So far.
Yeah, kind of boring, but hey, it was still fun.
I'm sorry that not running around screaming in pain has bored everybody's evening.
How does the rocket go on there?
You know what? I haven't even looked at that, but here's the box. Man, it's actually 2 cars because we never. Oh, there it is. Oh, hold on. Good move, Max. Just knocked the one you finished over.
No animals are injured in the process.
There. So what I've been working on is the front end that goes under the capsule. Okay, you asked that, I applied glue to this thing. Oh, there it is. Okay.
That's interesting.
What's that?
That the engines are hanging way off the end of the car. I would have thought that would have been one of the heavier parts of the rocket.
No, not when it's not fueled.
Does this also have a thing that lifts it up?
Yeah, it's an erector.
Okay. But I mean, is it in the kit? Is it in the kit?
Yeah, that's his gantry part.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they didn't as far as I know, they didn't transport them with fuel.
No, nobody does. They're fueled on the pad. Hell, they'd be too heavy.
Make it way too heavy. You couldn't stand it up.
Yep, it would break. The Mercury says, "This is when mistakes happen."
All right, this piece also doesn't seem to want some of these.
Yeah, and SpaceX transports their boosters and the Starship vertical also.
Let's see, that goes.
Although the Falcon is transported on its side, but it's a lot smaller rocket. Okay, Max, we gotta call it.
All right, we're calling it. That's a night. A rocket complete. Let me open this up here. Okay, separate. All right, guys. So we did the real live build. I knocked over my Soyuz, and there's the system right there. I go to work on Monday, so I'll be gone next week. Won't be a lot of content. Heritage Con is coming up for all you guys up there in Canada. Check it out. It's actually not very expensive if you want to put some models on display there, and most affordable. Again, sorry about the loss of Morton Künstler, and I did the unboxing video today, so thank you, Mr. Dillard, for the models, which the Battlestar models and the Untus, the thing. And that's what we got. So guys, thanks everybody for coming out. We have Rocket. And of course now I've got to finish this thing. Now that it's this far gone. Don't put it on the table of despair.
Nathan says, Max, don't you mean the 51st state of America?
What was it? Yeah, I do not want it to go to the tree of woe. Guys, I'll let you say your nights, and then we'll say adios.
Night, everybody. Have a safe week, and we look forward to doing it again next week.
Good night, everyone. Had a great time. Thanks for joining us. We know there are other YouTube channels out there you could have gone to, and you chose us. Good night, all.
Guys, thanks. Take care of yourselves, and as always, model on.